Jew. Okay, so our sermon giver for today is Minchie. Wow, right? So he has been preparing for a long time to be able to offer this sermon about peace in the heart. So I hope our hearts can be open to be able to receive. We're so proud of you. I don't know, I'm really excited. So, okay, so you remember a little clap for the spring where sometimes it drizzles and sometimes it rains and maybe it thunders? Hopefully that doesn't happen. But to be able to welcome our sermon giver, we can start with a little drizzle. Do you remember? So you do a little drizzle, you tap lightly, and then when I say rain, you increase, and then when I say thunder, okay. All right, so to welcome our sermon giver for today, let's have a little drizzle. Rain, 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 thunder, thunder, thunder. Thank you, and welcome.
Morning, everyone. So the title of my talk today is Peace in the Heart, the Foundation of a God-Centered Life. Let me try to use this clicker. Okay. So I will give an introduction first, and then I'll talk in detail about what peace in the heart is, why peace in the heart is needed, and how to achieve peace in the heart. So the introduction here is we know that the state of being peaceful is We know that the state of being peaceful is mentioned in the literature in Bible, John section 16, verse 33. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. This is phrased by Jesus, and in the Divine Principle 4.4, it says, over time, the works of a good spirit will increase a person's sense of peace and righteousness. Also in Father Moon's biography, as a peace-loving global citizen, he indicated that global peace comes from individual peace and ultimately peace in our hearts. So from these, we see that internally these quotes imply that peace in the heart is something worth studying, and externally peace is also important to us for various activities, giving us a better and more positive attitude towards life. So I'll continue with a more detailed explanation of what is peace in the heart. Again, I'll split things internally and externally. And internal things often comes from Bible or divine principle. So from Bible, John section 14, verse 27, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid, because we are with the God. In Colossians section 3, verse 15, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace, and be thankful. These two verses give us a sense that peace is the state of being confident, being hopeful, being thankful, and being able to welcome Christ. And we also learn something from the divine principle about peace. God's purpose of creation is to experience joy through relating with ideal, perfected human beings who embody his dual characteristics in individual form. When human beings achieve individual perfection, they become the temples of God, and God can dwell within them. They will realize complete oneness with him. This is the state of heart where they can experience the same joy that God feels. Another quote is, the kingdom of heaven on earth is a society whose structure is formed of individuals and families who have achieved complete oneness of heart with God. It is a society grounded in true love where all people live in harmony as one human family, united with God. So again, we learn from these two quotes that peace is not just about emotions, but a result of true love and harmony between God, people, and all creation. So next I'll begin with my, I'm not used to the clicker and the same advance, sorry. So next I'll begin with my external opinion about peace in heart. So in my mind, that peace in heart means no mental friction. And also we have passion and are able to engage in various activities in our life. So for example, when I help organize an event in the math department, I feel very motivated since I'm serving the people in the community which I care about. So that is a time where I feel peace and satisfaction as I'm doing the right thing. So I'm trying my best to solve all the difficulties I met there instead of dodging them. So next, I will talk about why the peace is needed. So again, internally from the Bible, the Proverbs section 14, verse 30, a tranquil heart gives life to the flesh, but envy makes bone rot. From Philippians section 4, verse 7, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard our heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. So we learned that peace gives us vitality and guard our heart against evil wills. Another internal reason comes from the divine principle again. So from the introduction section, all people have an original mind which inclines them to reject evil and pursue goodness. Yet even without our being aware of it, we are driven by evil forces to abandon the goodness which our original mind desires and to perform even deeds which in our innermost heart we do not want to do. Another quote from the divine principle is from chapter 2, The Human Fall. When the first human ancestors fell, they bound themselves in blood ties with Lucifer. They formed a four-position foundation with Satan, and thus all humanity became the children of Satan. So, because of the human fall, we are struggled between good wills and evil wills. However, maintaining peace in our heart can help us defend the temptation from the evil side and let us be closer to the God. So again, my external interpretation of the reason. So there is Maslow's hierarchy of needs for us human, and this is come up with by the American psychologist Abraham Harold Maslow. So the basic needs here we see it is the needs to survive, which is the dark red on this layer, this physiological needs. So that is the need to survive. We don't want to be hungry, thirsty, exhausted, freezing, overheating, sick, or in physical pain. Even a baby knows he needs these when he is undergoing the above conditions. Hungry, thirsty, exhausted, he'll cry to ask for help. A slightly more advanced needs are safety. So safety needs, these are being confident that we can avoid pain, hunger, and other dangers for the immediate future. A baby won't care about this. When he is fed, he fell asleep. But even a kindergarten child can feel this. If he is lining up for food and somehow all the food is taken, he'll feel sad. But this emotion can soon disappear if a new batch is served. He has the ability to consider the immediate future. The next layer, which is the yellow layer, love and belonging. We feel secure when we are part of a tribe we can trust and unworried about rejection or alienation. As early as in primary school, we can feel this. We are looking for friends in our classmates, trying to build a good relationship with them. But sometimes we may not know how to earn respect, which belongs to the next layer, the esteem. So here we have self-esteem as the second highest layer, and we want to feel not only part of the group, but also a respected or recognized part of the group. So mature people know that the best way to obtain love or respect is to give love or respect to others and serve others when they are in need. So the highest layer here is self-actualization. We are free to act as we choose, aligned with our values and higher purpose. This is the freedom and source of vitality. So as we talked before, peace is to be loved and to be able to give out love or true love. So there in the first three highest layers, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization, I would categorize the ability to give true love as self-actualization, since we are free to act, and this aligns with our higher purpose. So the highest purpose, self-actualization, here is also confirmed by a quotation from the Analect, written by Confucius students. So he said, "At 15, I set my heart upon learning. At 30, I stood firm." This is a literal translation, which means he's able to sustain himself. At 40, I had no more doubts. This means he has no more doubts about life problems, the large problems. At 50, I understood the will of heaven. So he's acting in a natural way, abiding by the heavenly law. At 60, my ear was attuned. He means he understands the implication of people's words. At 70, I could follow my heart's desire without overstepping the bounds of propriety. This is the same needs as our highest need, self-actualization, to align with our values and to serve for our higher purposes. So I also feel in the same way. When I do things I truly want, I become full of energy, and I will proactively search for help when I meet some obstacles. So to summarize, peace here, again, is among the first three highest needs, and also prepare us for the highest need. Along the way, we'll have an improved productivity and a new attitude towards our life. Okay. Then I'll begin to talk about how to achieve a peaceful mind state. Any questions before that? So from Bible, Galatians section 5, verse 22 to 23, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness." I think that's indication. 23 is an indication of that verse. "Gentleness and self-control. Against such things there is no law." So these things, we should take them as granted. And also in Isaiah section 26, verse 3, "You will keep in perfect peace with those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." So we see that to obtain peace, we need to mind our spirit, probably by serving others or praying. Moreover, we need to place ourselves in a good and nourishing environment. So from the divine principle, the providence of restoration begins with an individual expands to the family, nation and world, and ultimately will bring restoration to all of the heaven and earth. This is from the first chapter, section 5 of the divine principle, providence of resurrection. So again, from introduction, we read, every person in that world is united with God vertically, and this forms the basis upon which they can naturally live in harmony with each other horizontally. So we learn that peace comes from true love, and restoration begins in the heart and family. So then it comes with my external interpretation. So to obtain peace, we need to make friends with ourselves, understand our own feelings, stay connected to our hearts, and also love our neighbors, serve our communities. And for the first 3 points, which are about us and ourselves, I would like to read this to you. This is from Charlie Chaplin, When I Began to Love Myself. So as I began to love myself, I found that anguish and emotional suffering are only warning signs that I was living against my own truth. Today I know this is authenticity. As I began to love myself, I understood how much it can offend somebody if I try to force my desires on this person, even though I knew the time was not right and the person was not ready for it, and even though this person was me. Today I call it respect. As I began to love myself, I stopped craving for a different life, and I could see that everything that surrounded me was inviting me to grow. Today I call it maturity. So he has 8 or 10 verses from the poem. As I began to love myself, I understood that at any circumstance, I'm in the right place at the right time, and everything happens at the exactly right moment, so I could be calm. Today I call it self-confidence. As I began to love myself, I quit stealing my own time, and I stopped designing huge projects for the future. Today I only do what brings me joy and happiness, things I love to do and that makes me heart cheer, and I do them in my own way and in my own rhythm. Today I call it simplicity. As I began to love myself, I freed myself of anything that is no good for my health, food, people, things, situations, and everything that drew me down and away from myself. At first, I called this attitude a health egoism. Today I know it is love of oneself. As I began to love myself, I quit trying to always be right, and ever since I was wrong less of the time. Today I discover that is modesty. As I began to love myself, I refused to go on living in the past and worrying about the future. Now I only live for the moment where everything is happening. Today I live each day, day by day, and I call it fulfillment. As I began to love myself, I recognized that my mind can disturb me and it can take me sick. But as I connected to my heart, my mind became a valuable ally. Today I call this connection wisdom of the heart. Last verse. We no longer need to feel arguments, confrontations, or any kind of problems with ourselves or others. Even stars collide, and out of their crashing new worlds are born. Today I know this is life. So enough for the loving ourselves part. We also need to love our neighbors and serve the community. So I guess we heard the story, The North Wind and Sun, from Aesop's fables. The north wind and the sun were arguing over which of them was stronger. Just then a traveler came along wearing a cloak. They agreed that whoever could make the traveler remove his cloak would be considered the stronger of the two. The north wind went first. He blew with all his might, trying to force the traveler to give up his cloak. But the harder the wind blew, the more tightly the traveler wrapped the cloak around himself. The wind gave up. Then it was the sun's turn. He gently shone down on the traveler, who soon began to feel warm. As the sun grew warmer and warmer, the traveler loosened his cloak and finally took it off. The sun had won. So what we learn from this story is that if we want to deepen our relationship with someone, or if we want to serve better for the community, what we need is to give out love actively, but not take or asking for love. We should be acting as the sun, giving out warmth, but not acting as the north wind, giving out coldness. I think that's basically it. Thank you, and God bless you.